Welcome to Storytime with Taluli. Today's reading comes from r/Tales from Your Server. Our first story is titled, Cheeseburgers Can Be Very Confusing. I work at a very large franchise fast food restaurant, and while most customers have no problem with their order, we get the occasional one that is baffled by the simplest of things. Take this one woman who wanted a hamburger. What she actually ordered was a cheeseburger, no cheese. I don't know how things are at other burger selling joints, but literally the only difference between a cheeseburger and a hamburger where I work is the cheese. Otherwise, they are identical. They have exactly the same ingredients. So I put through a hamburger. If I put through a cheeseburger, no cheese, the kitchen would think I've lost it, and it doesn't or shouldn't make any difference to the customer. So her hamburger comes out in a wrapper that says hamburger. She takes it, pauses, then turns back to me. Woman: sorry, but I ordered a cheeseburger, no cheese. Me: yes, sorry, a cheeseburger with no cheese is exactly the same as a hamburger, so I just put through a hamburger. I ordered a cheeseburger though, and the wrapper says hamburger. It's exactly the same though. The only difference between a cheeseburger and a hamburger is the cheese. But this is not what I ordered. You wanted a cheeseburger, correct? Yes. But without the cheese, correct? Yes. Me trying to be as polite as possible. Then that's what this is. A cheeseburger without the cheese is a hamburger. There is literally no difference. But I didn't order a hamburger. I ordered a cheeseburger, no cheese. Now I'm smiling through gritted teeth and have resigned myself to her stupidity. 1 second, I'll just go change that for you. I literally went into the kitchen and got them to put the hamburger into a wrapper that said cheeseburger and whack a label on that said no cheese. Thank you very much, dear. And she took the hamburger disguised as a cheeseburger, no cheese, and went on her merry way. Now, anytime a customer wants a cheeseburger, no cheese, we have to explain to them why the label says something else. Most of them get it, but give us really weird looks as if we're stupid, or maybe they think we think they are stupid. Oh wow, that's unfortunate you had to deal with someone like that. I mean, oh my gosh, that's it just reminds me. It reminds me when I used to work in. Oh my gosh, people are like that. It is ridiculous. Our next story is titled, I don't want restaurants to die, I want them to adapt. Let me start by saying that I'm an out-of-work restaurant manager in the San Francisco Bay Area. It was a huge bummer, and it's been a whirlwind couple of months. But honestly, I've had a relatively painless UI experience, and I'm surviving while California is shelter in place. I recently read a statement from the GGRA, a restaurant advocacy group here in SF, that restaurants in the city are losing money while open exclusively for takeout and delivery, and that they will need to be able to reopen on-site dining to help them survive. Frankly, I feel like this is exactly the wrong takeaway from the news that restaurants are suffering. As an industry, restaurants already operate on razor-thin margins and routinely disregard labor and safety best practices to cut costs in the best of times. I don't think that they are going to suddenly thrive in a partially opened economy. Without a regulatory body guaranteeing that restaurants and other public gathering places are following guidelines, how long before restaurant owners stop enforcing mask and glove protocol in closed kitchens? How long before managers and staff stop thoroughly sanitizing tables and chairs because they are scrounging for covers and trying to get impatient guests seated as quickly as possible? How long before a server in a space understaffed to cut labor gets too busy to change their gloves between cleaning plates and serving the next table? How long before 6 feet becomes 4 feet, becomes 3 feet to maximize guest counts? With food insecurity a major issue now nationwide, and food banks and social services unable to meet the need, maybe there's an opportunity for coordination between our elected officials and food service businesses. State and local governments could work to create opportunities to subsidize restaurants, financing their labor and overhead while they offer meals to low-income families and people out of work. I don't know what the exact answer is to keeping restaurants alive, but I know that reopening quickly and out of desperation is not a recipe for safe, measured business practices. In my opinion, restaurant owners need to get past the idea of reopening and getting back to normal, and need to look toward innovating and adapting their business models to meet the time. Surely there's a way. Well, I don't think it's not really in the business owner's control if the government decides to subsidize them with tax money. You're saying that they need to be innovative at adapting their businesses. It is completely out of their control whether or not the government is going to decide to give them tax money to subsidize their profits. How are they in control of that decision? They're operating off of what they have. And they have right now a failing business that they've probably put tons of years into developing that is now about to close its doors for good. And you're saying that they should just be innovative and have a new solution that involves taking tax money like they're in control of that decision. I mean, maybe there is a better way, and obviously I think people need to be safe, and I agree with all that, but that proposed solution is entirely out of the hands of the business owners. Our next story is titled, I Don't Want to Be Served by Some Lesbian by a Jerk Customer. This gem happened a couple of nights ago. In order to tell the story of what happened a few nights ago, I need to tell the backstory of the change in my appearance. I hadn't been happy with my hair for a while. Before an experiment I tried that failed, I loved my hair. But with a failed venture into having dreadlocks, perms, and other stuff done to my hair, it left it frazzled and damaged. It came back somewhat after argan and coconut oil treatments, but not the same as before. Plus, I hadn't had my hair cut or styled since the week before Christmas. The last time my mom and little sister went, it wasn't long before the state closed salons, and I was sick with the flu, so I couldn't go. So my hair had gotten rather long since I haven't been able to get it cut, and I thought it looked its worst. So about 2 weeks before the salons in my state were announced to be opening, the waitress who trained me came into work at the same time I did. I had her head shaved. I was so intrigued by her shaved head and thought it looked so good on her. I had to ask her about it. She explained how she got to where she was, and by the time she got done explaining everything to me, I was wanting to have my own head shaved and experience the bald filling for myself. We had talked at break during our next shift where we worked together that we organized my head shave. I went by her apartment a week later and I got my head shaved, and I loved it. I loved it so much that I bought a pair of clippers to keep up with it. So that brings me to what happened the other night. I had had my head shaved for about a week or so by this point, and I was feeling more confident with it. We didn't have very many people in the restaurant because of the whole social distancing order from Governor Abbott. I had been answering the question of if I had cancer because of my head and the fact I'm wearing my face mask. During the night in question, we had two gentlemen walk in. I use the term gentleman very loosely. They were the kind that you knew were going to be trouble right after they walked in. So our hostess gets them seated. I come in, give these gentlemen their menus, and introduce myself. I get through my intro and ask about drinks. The younger of the two asks about getting beer, and I explain that while I can put beer on their order, but since I am a minor, I can't serve them alcohol. I'm 16 and you have to be 18 to serve alcohol in Texas. I put their beer on my slip as well as their soft drinks, Pepsi and Dr. Pepper. As I turn to walk away to get their soft drinks and get someone to get their beer, the younger one pipes in. Hey, let me ask you a question. Are you one of those lesbians? The question takes me back because I am not prepared for it. I figured they might be really radical Christians because I know some that are like that and will tell me how I will burn in hell if I tell them I am a lesbian, which I am not. I tell them, no, I am not a lesbian. That's when I'm told by the older gentleman, are you sure you're not a lesbian? You look like a lesbian with your head shaved. I think to myself, where is this coming from? I have a boyfriend, I am a member of my school's gay straight alliance, I am a member of the drama club and school marching concert band, I am on the student council. How can I get around this because I know what they're thinking? I say, I am sure I'm not a lesbian. The older gentleman looks at me with a scowl on his face and tells me he would like to talk to a manager. I would have gone and gotten our FOH manager, but she is out with COVID-19, so our GM is filling in for her. So I get him and tell him a couple of guys would like to talk to him and I'm not sure what this is all about. No food has been ordered or served yet, so I'm sure it has nothing to do with food. We walk over to the table and he is talking to the gentleman at the table when the older gentleman informs him, We want a different server. We are sure this little girl is a lesbian and we don't want to be served by no lesbian. They are bottom feeders and don't deserve anything. I'm taken aback by this. I don't know what I had said. The younger gentleman, I guess he has to be in his late 30s or early 40s, is agreeing with the older gentleman. I estimate to be in his mid to late 40s, and he's tearing me a new a-hole and saying how he and his friend hates gays. I feel tears welling up in my eyes. I excuse myself to my manager and walk up to one of our servers and ask him to watch my tables for a few minutes. I go to the bathroom and cry for a few minutes. I'm in there 5 to 10 minutes and walk back out. When I get to the table, my manager tells me everything has been taken care of and that they have been kicked out. I'm happy, but they said they blamed me for what happened. I can't help they are homophobes, a-holes. Wow. I guess people like that still exist, huh? That's insane. I mean, if you don't agree with it, that's one thing. But like, especially the thing I never understood is like being a Christian and being filled with hatred. Like, those don't go together. I mean, even if you follow like the teachings of Christ, if you follow anything about Jesus, it's about loving people. Jesus hung out with the sinners. Jesus loved everyone. He understands, like, everyone's a sinner. Even you that may hate something are a sinner in your own right with something else. So it's like, who are you to hate people? Like, that is like the most non-Christian thing ever. It's all about love and compassion, loving people. Like understanding that we're all sinners, we all fail, we all need God, we all need grace. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's all about. Like, who are you to go and like, it's a sin in itself to hate people. Like, I mean, come on, it makes no sense. Sorry, it's just, that's so frustrating to me. It annoys me so much. Our next story is titled, One of My Best Guest Interactions of All Time. Dear Heather, you and your friends came into my restaurant as I was coming off of my break for my third of at least 6 doubles in a row. You didn't need my wine recommendation, but you chose one I've been meaning to try, 8 years in the desert, for those keeping track at home. We spent a few hours serving you and your friends wine and snacks, talking about both as well as my time in both this city and others. I positively adored the energy y'all gave me on one of many long days. And then today, on my 4th double, after already leaving a tip of over 20% on 2 bottles and a few nibbles, I was called to the front desk. You brought me an orange Swift bottle on an out-of-your-way trip as a gift. You genuinely touched my jaded industry soul after an interaction that already meant I would remember you by being more kind and genuine than any bougie fine dining Fs I'd handled in the stories we'd shared. I teared up, my front desk teared up, my manager was blown away. I wasn't kidding when I told you I'm in my first week. I haven't tried the bottle yet. I'm saving it for a night when my red wine loving boyfriend and I can share it with his red wine loving mother, and we're all enthused beyond belief. We aren't just excited about the wine, but also about all of the things you said by bringing it to me today. Thank you so much. That feeling is why I do what I do. So much love. Sincerely, V at the W. Aw, well, that's a nice story. That's always good when you feel appreciated and people do nice things like that. It's so sweet. I love it. That gave me good feels. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you enjoy these types of videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you know when more videos come out. Thank you all for your continued support. It means a lot. The channel's seen a lot of growth. It's really exciting. I love it. Oh, sorry, I just punched the mic. Anyways, if you would like to join the Discord, the link for that's in the description below. It's a really awesome community filled with tons of cool people. And also all of my other social media links are in there as well if you'd like to follow me on different places on the internet. Anyways, that's all there for you in the description. Go check it out if you want. Anyways, I hope you all are staying safe out there. These are some crazy times, but hopefully it gets better. Anyways, yeah, with that being said, we'll see you next time.